Welcome back to another explainer. So let's just jump right in, shall we? Today we are tackling a topic that's frankly been generating a ton of buzz and, yeah, maybe a little bit of anxiety in the quality management world. We're talking about the highly anticipated release of the new ISO 9001 standard, officially slated for September 16th, 2026. We are going to take this critical update and break it down into a really clear, structured roadmap, so you know exactly what it means for your organization moving forward.
Okay, first things first, let's lower that transition anxiety right out of the gate. If you've been doom scrolling the online panic, you probably think you need to just toss your entire quality manual in the trash and start from scratch. But listen, the skeleton is exactly identical. If your current 2015 system is genuinely working and healthy for you, well, the vast majority of it is already a 2026 system. Treat this upcoming edition as a critical content update to a structure you already own, not a ground-up reimplementation. That being said, there are exactly 5 areas that carry real substantive change.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the 2026 QMS evolution, and then we're going to hit those top 5 actionable shifts: climate context, quality culture, opportunity thinking, managing change, and finally, AI integration. Let's get into it.
Part 1, the 2026 QMS evolution. Remember, it's an evolution, not a revolution.
Before we get into the shiny new stuff, we have to ground ourselves in the overarching framework. Like I said, this update is an evolution. ISO 9001:2026 keeps the exact same high-level structure that 2015 introduced. Clauses 4 through 10, identical order. The fundamental process approach, totally unchanged. And that classic plan, do, check, act cycle is still the absolute backbone of the standard. Your existing quality manual structure maps one-to-one onto 2026. You are essentially just updating the content inside a framework you already know intimately. But there is one brand new structural addition you absolutely cannot ignore. The 2026 update drops a brand new 15-page informative Annex A. Now, it provides non-normative interpretation guidance across clauses 4 through 10. And non-normative basically just means you can't be audited against Annex A directly. It adds no formal requirements. But, and this is a huge but, you absolutely have to read it. Why? Because this annex is going to heavily shape exactly how auditors interpret things like risk, knowledge, and digital workflows from here on out. It is literally the lens through which your system will be viewed.
Moving on to Update 1, Climate Context. Sustainability is officially in the QMS.
Global sustainability initiatives have finally made their explicit way into the core standard. Look at the language shift in clauses 4.1 and 4.2. Back in 2015, you simply had to determine relevant internal and external issues. Pretty broad, right? Well, in 2026, you must explicitly determine whether climate change is a relevant external issue. It's now an unavoidable piece of your context analysis. You also have to consider if your interested parties have climate-related expectations.
Now, what's really interesting here is how you handle this operationally. In strict alignment with the ISO London Declaration, your conclusion on this climate change assessment has to be formally documented. So here's your practical takeaway. Let's say you run a fully digital SaaS company and you conclude, hey, climate change doesn't materially impact our daily ops or product conformity. That's totally fine, but you still must officially record that conclusion in your documentation. You can't just skip it. The assessment itself is mandatory.
All right, Update 2, Quality Culture. We're talking human behavior and ethics. Shifting our focus from the outside world to internal behaviors, check out the evolution of Clause 5.1.1. In the past, top management just had to demonstrate leadership and commitment, standard stuff. But in 2026, that commitment must explicitly promote a quality culture and ethical behavior. Basically, leadership can't just sign off on a policy document once a year and call it a day. Auditors are going to be hunting for a light evidence trail that proves leaders are actively fostering a culture where integrity actually drives performance, and where long-term quality consistently beats short-term gains.
And hey, this culture doesn't just live in the boardroom anymore. Clause 7.3, which covers awareness, now pushes these culture and ethics expectations down to the entire workforce. Think of culture as a chain reaction, right? Leaders set the tone, for sure. But this new awareness requirement ensures every single employee grasps the ethical implications of their day-to-day decisions. You're going to need to prove this. Think updated onboarding materials, regular refreshers, and super transparent internal communication.
Let's move to Update 3, Opportunity Thinking, going way beyond risk avoidance.
So ISO 9001:2026 officially pushes us past just playing defense by introducing this formal concept of opportunity-based thinking. It defines it as a distinct, systematic process of identifying, analyzing, and pursuing opportunities that positively impact customer satisfaction and conformity.
We all know risk is about mitigating the negative, but opportunity-based thinking treats innovation and growth as strategic tools that you have to formally manage and document just as rigorously.
Let's see how this literally reshapes Clause 6.1. Back in 2015, risks and opportunities were kind of mashed together into a single requirement. Now, let's be honest, most organizations just focused on the threats and completely ignored the upside. Well, in 2026, the clause is completely restructured to separate risk mitigation from opportunity pursuit. You cannot just slap a vague opportunity at the bottom of your risk register as an afterthought anymore. Auditors are going to expect to see a distinct, documented analysis and evaluation of your real business opportunities.
So, what does this all mean for you? This separation is really designed to drive a massive cultural shift. It takes an organization from compliance-driven risk avoidance to a state of proactive, continuous improvement. It forces your QMS to lock in directly with your strategic business goals. So whether you're investing in new digitalization efforts or beefing up customer self-service portals, those opportunities must now be evaluated with the exact same discipline as a supply chain threat. Now for Update 4, Managing Change. Let's talk operational transitions. This next update adds some serious operational teeth to how you handle organizational shifts. Clause 6.3 focuses on planning changes to your QMS. The 2026 update tacks on 3 crucial new steps to your change management process. Evaluate effectiveness, communicate the change, and review the results. You have to explicitly close the loop now. It is no longer enough to just write down, hey, a change was made. You have to confirm that the change actually worked using measurable indicators, and you have to prove you clearly communicated this transition to all relevant staff.
Building right on that idea of managing change, we've got to look at Clause 7.1.6 regarding organizational knowledge. The standard now demands that you actively retain, apply, and share knowledge across teams. It's expanding the entire lifecycle of knowledge management. In real-world business terms, this clause is your ultimate shield against key person risk. When your most experienced personnel leave or your workflows inevitably shift, you need a formalized system to ensure their critical process knowledge isn't walking out the door with them, but is instead captured, shared, and applied. Okay, I want you to ask yourself a very timely, maybe slightly terrifying question. Is your QMS truly ready to govern artificial intelligence? Because ready or not, we are diving into the absolute most modern and rapidly evolving aspect of the standard. Which brings us to Update 5, AI integration and data-driven quality. Now, to be perfectly clear, the ISO standard itself remains technology neutral. It doesn't prescribe specific AI controls. That is what ISO 42001 is for. But data-driven QMS is formally acknowledged here. The core concept you've got to wrap your head around is to treat models as suppliers. Under the updated Clause 8.4 regarding external providers, if you're using a third-party, cloud-based AI service that influences a product or a process decision, you must govern that AI tool exactly the same way you govern a physical supplier. It needs strict evaluation, a defined scope of use, and continuous monitoring. The sources actually give us 5 fantastic principles for an AI-aware QMS. Treat models as suppliers, version your data as strictly as your code, define exactly where humans must remain in the loop, audit your AI models just like any other process, and finally, keep competence requirements honest. That last one is absolutely huge. Clause 7 now requires that any personnel relying on AI-enabled tools actually understand how those tools work, and more importantly, where they might hallucinate or fail. You cannot just blindly trust a shiny new AI output. To wrap up our AI segment, let's look at Clause 9. If you're using AI for things like defect detection via computer vision or drafting audit reports with large language models, that is completely fine. But the role of your quality team shifts entirely. Your job isn't just doing the inspection anymore. Your job is validating the inspector. You have to relentlessly demonstrate that the monitored data and those AI outputs you're using to make real business decisions are completely valid, reliable, and actually fit for purpose.
Finally, Clause 10.1 on continual improvement really pushes us to address the overall suitability and adequacy of the QMS. I want to leave you with this provocative thought to take back to your teams. Does our system still fit our business model? The release of ISO 9001-2026 is an incredible opportunity. I challenge you to use this upcoming transition not just as some tedious exercise to check a compliance box, but to fundamentally strengthen your business, upgrade those digital workflows, and build a truly resilient, opportunity-driven culture. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and hey, happy implementing.